are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tom.
And we're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Hooked on Sonics. I am one of your two hosts, Bruce, and over there, wearing some national championship garb, the one, the only, Tone Capone. And this week we have a couple really cool artists to talk about. We've got Marilyn Manson's latest album, One Assassination Under God, Chapter 1, and Warren Zevon's final album, The Wind. Um, Before we get into any of that, folks, let them know. Tony, how are you?
Good evening.
Hello.
I am good, man. I'm as good as can be expected. You and I've talked earlier today, and uh, we lost our female uh, gecko. She was part of a mating pair that we had for a number of years now. She was up there in her age, but it's sad to see her go. You know, she's probably one of the last reptiles we're going to own. We're probably not going to own any more reptiles moving forward, but she was awesome. She was her and her mate Sid were the smallest reptiles in the house. And whenever kids would come over, we would introduce them to reptiles through the geckos. And everybody loved to pick up a gecko and had a good time with them. They were very good. They lived a good life, man. And um, we still have one down there that was kind of given to us. Uh, I take care of it, but I have no emotional attachment to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it sucks because we raised Sid and Nancy since they were about a year, and hopefully she's up there kicking it with Sid, and Sid and Nancy are reunited.
There you go.
So, but listening to this album on the day that shit happened was no fun. If you caught me about 45 minutes ago, I was a ball of fucking tears. So, other than that, man, yeah, I'm doing all right. Looking forward to doing these reviews tonight. Think we got a bit on the table here. I don't think we have any news that we're going to discuss this evening. Not that we didn't hear anything or know anything going on out there. We just didn't get a chance to look at anything this week. It's been pretty busy for me.
Yeah, and I don't really remember seeing anything like earth-shattering that come through. Um,
We talked about
it,
John Sykes last week, didn't we?
yes.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
uh,
And Garth from the band passing away. So,
yeah.
yep. What have you been listening to, my friend?
Today I was listening to some Ohm. I was listening to some Heavy Temple. And I was listening to I heard some Scorpions today, thanks to Katie. Um, what else have I been listening to? I was checking somebody out recently, and I can't remember right offhand who it was. Like I was really checking somebody out. I can't remember who it was right offhand. I'm probably going to go doing a bit of a deep dive on Mastodon. It's kind of been long overdue for me. Scott's our buddy Scott has
Hmm.
always been a big fan of Mastodon, and he turned me on to one album, and I remember really kind of digging it. So I'm going to probably do get into some of those dudes over the next week. But other than that, really haven't been. Man, I know. Oh, listen to some Boring today.
Okay.
Boring Interclavicore. So
Yeah, it's funny. Scott turned me on to Mastodon years ago too, and me and him seen them at least once over
I've
the
seen them.
Newport.
I've
Yeah,
seen them in Newport.
yeah,
Just
really cool band.
it didn't resonate with me at the time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, they're a really cool band to watch.
Indeed, indeed.
They
And
got some good stuff.
what have you been jamming?
Well, let's see. I went on a really cool Warren Zevon dive. He's got some clunkers out there, but most of his stuff is just really, really macabre and ironic, and just, I was just feeling it this week. So a lot of Zevon this week.
Yep. And I got to check out that album that you gave me from him.
Uh-huh.
We'll talk about that here in a bit.
Yeah.
Folks, before we get into everything going on here, want to just tell you, be sure to, if you like what you see and listen to here, please like, comment, subscribe, share our stuff with you. We'd love to see more of you get interactive. We'd like to get a little more interactive with you guys. Please leave us some messages on anything you'd like us to review or talk about, man. We'd love to hear from you. Other than that,
What are you
Bruce,
drinking?
you beat me. Tonight, I am actually having some of the last of this bottle that was given to me by a good friend of mine. This is a Penelope Toasted Barrel single barrel strength, or no, it was the barrel strength. And this has been an amazing pour. Beautiful bottle, pretty standard, almost like it looks like a wine bottle with some really nice artwork on it. This thing, I think, let me see. Do I have the ring in? This thing rings in at 118
Okay.
on the proof. So I mean, it's got a little bit of bite to it, but it really does taste good. And I actually ended up getting another bottle of Penelope Toasted. I don't know that it is the barrel strength, but I think it's a store pick, which is really nice. So I'll look forward to opening that here. I'm actually a big fan of this this version of this bourbon, and it probably ranks amongst my top 5, top 10. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and have a little sip to Nance.
Finance.
There's a little bit of a breathtaking burn there. There is. But sweet up front on the palate, little burn in the back of the throat. This is one that, just because of the heat, I might have a little bit of a chaser with, so that's why the Mountain Dew's out. Just a little sip to rinse that heat from the back of my throat. But yeah, I give this a 5 all day, man. I absolutely love this bottle. I don't rate every bourbon at that. There's no way I could, but this is just one of those ones that tastes really nice. I like the toasted barrel from Penelope. And Elijah Craig has a toasted barrel that's amazing as well. Uh, I haven't seen too many other toasteds out there. I know there are a few others out there. I'd definitely like to try them. But I've been kind of phasing my days of drinking bourbon and moving into more of tasting tequila.
Okay.
And I'm a longtime tequila fan. I actually cut my teeth on tequila. So that's where I'm at. You, sir, what are you drinking?
Well, with all this warm weather that we've been having, and feels like a tropical paradise out there.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I
Tropical
was
paradise.
tropical paradise. I
Do
was
you like
thinking,
pina coladas?
and getting lost in the rain.
Mm,
Anyway, the only thing that could really make this dream a reality, little Red Stripe
nice.
Jamaican lager. I don't drink this I don't drink it often, um, just because I'm usually in the mood for something else. But when I do get in the mood for this, I absolutely love it. So let me take a sip, shall I? All right, this bad boy is 4.7 in alcohol. Again, this is a very social beer. That's mostly what I drink is just social beers. I typically don't drink to get drunk or anything like that.
Why not?
Just, I just don't.
Why not?
It ain't my thing anymore.
Come on, man. Let's get tanked.
Woo! That's where I bust out the moonshine.
Oh, here we go.
But we're not doing that tonight. Red Stripe for all your party needs. I love this beer. I give it a 5. Solid, really solid.
You know what, dude? I'm a fan of Red Stripe, and it would end up at about a 4.5 for me.
Hmm.
I don't think it's horrible beer by any means. It's just not one I would drink every day.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I think I might have even been blessed to have a Red Stripe in Jamaica. What in the hell is going on here? Why can't I get this in here?
Does it taste different?
I don't think so.
Because like Coke in Mexico tastes completely different.
Oh, but this is because Coke in Mexico is made with actual sugar.
Right. But I didn't know if Red Stripe made in like actually in Jamaica was any
And you
different.
know what? Being that, you know, Coke made in Mexico, I mean, do they have the original recipe?
You never know. Remember
A,
the new
a
formula?
little, a
Remember new
little,
Coke?
a little booger sugar in there.
Just saying.
I do remember the new Coke, but here's the thing, dude. Growing up over the years, the only dark pops I really cared for was cherry flavored or um root beer. I
Okay.
am not a fan of dark pops, dude. They really mess with indigestion for me. I'm more of a light pop, light colored pop. I'm always hardcore Mountain Dew fan since I put one to my lips, and
Yeah.
a Sprite fan. I love Sprite when it comes to pop, but for the most part, man, I'm not a big. I drink a lot of tea and water, and
Yeah.
I don't try to drink as much pop. When I do, I drink the zero sugar shit, being diabetic and all that other grand shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that is some alcohol reviews there, man. This right
Yeah.
here, going to have another little sip.
Might as well.
Mm, 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 mm.
Also,
It just tastes so good on your lips,
that's right.
like it's so good.
Yep. It's so good. It's so nice. Hey, also, we just want to also um, give a shout out to our buddy Skeet, who recently lost his sister, Angie. So
Yeah,
prayers and condolences to Skeet and his family. Um,
he's been on the show as a guest.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, last season. So all our best to you, Skeet, and your family. So
yeah. Um, sorry I wasn't there today. I've got things I'm going through over here, bud. I am going to be giving you a call and setting up. If you are listening or watching this, I'll be giving you a call and setting up an appointment for me and you to get together and just go sit down at Frankie's and have a bite to eat and kind of chill or something, man. Maybe set up. I know Kate and I were talking about getting together with him and his wife, doing a uh, a cook.
okay,
So, but I need this freaking weather to break, dude. I can't get the smoker up to temperature in this weather.
it's here in Tennessee. I'm able to get mine up. Just saying.
What's the temperature down there?
Right now, well, earlier today it was almost 50.
Yeah, you're a little warmer than us. We're about 30 and
Yeah.
some change. I think about 34, 36 we hit today.
Hmm. But I might smoke some stuff this weekend. We shall see.
Yep. What do you think about smoking?
I'm thinking about some pork loin.
Do me
I
a
haven't
favor.
smoked any.
If you do this,
Hmm.
take my word for it and wrap it in bacon.
Okay.
There's a reason for this. Pork loin is too lean. Okay, it's just too lean. And the bacon's going to add nice flavor and fat to it so it doesn't dry out.
Gotcha. Well, twist my arm to add bacon to anything.
I would.
I'm wilting away.
Yeah, you want to wrap that
Wilting.
thing in you want to wrap that thing in bacon. Do you know how to make a bacon weave?
Uh, I've done it once.
Yeah,
So
I would suggest doing it in a weave.
okay.
That way the bacon doesn't roll or shrivel up off of it too much.
Gotcha.
A little bit of work, but you know that little bit of work results in
Beautiful meat.
beautiful meat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, my friend, now that we're all hungry, thanks.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about some albums, shall we?
All right, who went first last week?
I don't know. You want me to go first?
You know what? Go ahead and go first.
All right, I'm going to go first. All right. You gave me Marilyn Manson's latest album, One Assassination Under God Chapter 1.
Yep.
This bad boy was released late November, November 22nd, 2024. Um, when did you first hear this album?
Oh, dude, it was one of the first albums I listened to after our episode with Chuck.
Okay.
Because Chuck was making mentions of his favorite albums and stuff through,
Yep.
and I was trying to get to listen to a couple albums from each of your guys' lists that had made your list because I wanted to familiarize what you were looking at and what you were giving the rating, why you were giving it the ratings or stuff that that why it hit your radar as it did.
Yeah.
Um, and I will tell you, man, I sat here and my wife is a Marilyn Manson fan.
Hmm.
There's no doubt about it. She's probably about as big of a Marilyn Manson fan as my brother is. I mean, he was a guy of their era for sure. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I've always, I wasn't always big on Marilyn Manson. My brother actually turned me on to Manson, and I eventually became, there's a lot of tunes I'd really dig from the dude, and the band in general. With that out there, I just want to say, her and I listened to the album, and I said, this album made Chuck's list, and she knows who Chuck is. She's seen Chuck and talked to Chuck before, but
Yeah.
um, she had not heard this new album, which is strange for her because she's usually on top of the Marilyn Manson stuff.
Hmm.
And I think we both sat down and agreed, and just another solid album from him, in my personal opinion. If I had to give you my rating, um, I'm not going to give you a rating because I didn't sit and listen to it and like do the thorough work that I do for a review.
Yeah.
If I had to just upon easy listening, uh, I would have probably given it an 8.5, roughly,
Hmm.
without a thorough listen,
Yeah.
maybe 8.25, 8.5. And with that being with that, with that being said, I would say that was a pretty solid album. Anything above, 8 or above is a pretty solid album and should probably be checked out. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, what were your thoughts on it?
So, I'm a minor Marilyn Manson fan. My favorite album, and probably the only one that I actually listened to with any kind of regularity, was Antichrist Superstar.
Okay.
So for me, that's my frame of reference, and that's kind of my. Obviously, I've heard other stuff from other albums, but as far as like a whole album, Antichrist Superstar is the shining light.
Is it that's your pick in the
That's
album?
that's my pick.
Me, I don't know, man. It would probably be a toss up between that one and maybe Mechanical Animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What was on Mechanical Animals? If
Ah,
I
I can't
remember right, it was
recall.
like one big single. It was kind of a big thing. Nothing was big as Beautiful People or Sweet Dreams, which was off of the previous album
Smells Like
before.
Children.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
But you know what? This one was no slouch. This actually had three singles. They all did really well. The first single was As Sick as the Secrets Within, then Raise the Red Flag, and then thirdly, Sacrilegious. Um, this album was recorded in just a few months. Um, it really well produced. Really well produced here. Taylor Bates, who is also one of the main songwriters with Marilyn, produced this album. Well, I'm sorry, Tyler Bates. Did I say Taylor? It's Tyler. Um, this is some clear, crisp production, including the vocals, which is really, I was pleasantly surprised because there tends to be here recently with some of this, some of the newer metal and shit, where the vocals kind of get muddied up a little bit. And he does a little bit of that too on some of his stuff, some distortion. Really, none of that here. Um, I really thought there was a really good blend between his classic sound and with, mixing it up, some different sounds. Um, So let's get right into it. The first song was One Assassination Under God. Um, really good opener. Um, just a really good. This song really set the tone for the rest of the album. This is a powerful album, but it's really reserved. Like there is some really powerful dynamics in here, some really powerful imagery. Um, but there's the energy is kind of pulled back on it, which really works, especially on this song, One Assassination Under God. I gave it an A, really enjoyed it. Um, Next up was No Funeral Without Applause. Great vocals, and it had a Sweet Dreams vibe to it. At the beginning little riff
Yeah.
piece there. Um, again, I am not anyone who knows I can't hear too well. There are some really good lyrics in this album. I strongly recommend anyone who actually does listen to this album check out the lyrics, listen for the lyrics. Marilyn Manson, I think he really does not get enough credit for painting pictures with his lyrics. I don't think he strays too much from subject matter too much, which may hurt his legacy. But all in all, he's a really good songwriter. But No Funeral Without Applause, um, gave it an A. Third up is Not If You Understand. Really cool bass riff to start this thing. This one had a little bit of a Beautiful People vibe to it. It's really catchy, really catchy. Gave it an A. Next up was As Sick as the Secrets Within. It's slick and it's got a really cool groove to it. It had a Western type guitar kind of in the background,
Yeah.
and I dug the shit out of that. Like I was thinking like old Western feel, like Charlie Crockett. Charlie Crockett's a newer country guy out of Waco, Texas, but had a little bit of that vibe to it, and I dug the shit out of it. I gave that song an A plus. Um, then we had Sacrilegious. Again, a very cool song. It's a really cool single. Um, of the three singles, it's my second favorite single. But see next, Death is Not a Costume. It's really nice, mellow vibe. It's a it's a good background driving song. Like if you're just driving like this, it's a good driving song. It's nothing like crazy good or like, oh, you really have to pay attention to this. Just a really good song.
Nice.
I gave it an A. Meet Me in Purgatory, A plus. I love this fucking song. It's great bass sound again. Nothing too fancy, but it's a really great bass. Um, and I love the line, "Are you going to pray for me from Are you going to pray for? Are you going to pray for me in purgatory, or are you just going to look through the stained glass window?" It's like, whew, what a great line.
Hey, dude, you know what? I will not bullshit you.
Hmm.
I would say Manson is very underrated for his vocal or his lyrics.
Yeah,
He really does know how to put some lyrics out there that are just make you go, damn, you know what I mean?
yeah. Now, one thing I definitely want to say in this is his vocals are really good on this. Like his voice is still really strong. He screams when he has to. It's not just, oh, here, let's it didn't feel forced. It was just very natural. It was very appropriate. His phrasings were appropriate. It's just you can tell there's some age, there's some wisdom to this.
May I interject?
Hmm.
May I interject in what you're saying here?
Yeah.
And I hate to cut you off. I have watched recent video of Manson's recent tour.
Okay.
he sounds the best I have heard him. And I even told my brother this. He sounds the best live that I have heard him live. And I've never gotten to see Manson live. I've always seen video.
Mhm.
He sounds the best live on this tour than I have heard him sound in ages.
Yeah.
So I told my brother this, and my brother explained to me, I think his response was, it's amazing what a good woman and being sober will do for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know who he's with, if Manson's with anybody, or who that might be at this point in time. But if he's sober, it's definitely coming through that he sounds, yes. Is he older? Yes, but he sounds younger than he did years before because he may
Yeah.
have been suffering from something there. I think vocally, I like at this point in time, Manson's at the top of his, at the top of his game for his age.
It definitely sounds like it. Again, if you go back to Antichrist Superstar, there's a little more rawness to his voice, which you would expect it from fucking almost 30 years ago.
Right.
But this age in his voice, this just more, maybe just more attention to his craft. It really stands out in this album. Um, Next up was Raise the Red Flag. Again, solid lyrics. It's a menacing opening riff, but it's subdued. Again, we keep going back to this. Really cool riffs, but nothing's like super flashy and super aggressive. It's there, and it's I love the vibe of this album. I really love the vibe of this album. Um, Again, another great line on here. Uh, pay off the pay off the drug deals you made with God. Whew. What does that mean?
He's a lyricist, dude.
Listen to the rest of the song, figure it out. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. Gave it an A plus, and then lastly was Sacrifice of the Mass. This is probably my favorite song on the album. It's a nice acoustic start. It's an eerie doom country type song. Again, it's that little western tinge to it. It's acoustic. It's his voice is just where it needs to be on this,
Right.
and I really dug the shit out of it. Um, I went back on my way home today. I went back and listened to Antichrist Superstar, just kind of compared the two. And while I think that there are a few there are a few songs that still stand out better than some of these, I'm going to say on the whole, this is a better album than Antichrist Superstar. On the whole. Uh Having said that, I'm going to say I'm giving this thing I'm giving this thing a 9.
It's a square nine.
It's a square 9. I'm not now for me personally, I've kind of not outgrown. That sounds really pretentious. I don't listen to this type of metal very often. But it was really cool to revisit this, to see where he's at. From everything that I've read, this is a much better album than he's put out in a long time.
It was like it
Um,
would, dude. It was like connecting. It was like reconnecting with an old friend.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it was
you'll
good
run
to
into that
see.
with albums.
And I was glad to see that he wasn't stuck in the same place, and that he actually there's still some growth available. And that was really cool to see. I love seeing growth. I love seeing, you know, people sticking with their traditional sound and doing tweaks. So really enjoyed this album.
Thank you, Chuck, man.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you for talking about that on the show. When we had you guested, I'm really glad I got the opportunity to give that to Bruce. Glad I got to listen to it. I think it's a phenomenal album. And like I said, without a thorough listen, I would have given it an 8.5. That's why I said, you know what, this album sticks out. What can I give Bruce that's not in the realm of doom? That since I'm usually throwing a lot of that at you,
Yeah.
what can I give him that's maybe he might be a little interested in. And I'm gonna tell you, man, dude, for me, it was like checking in on an old friend. And I can remember when the fucking Megadeth Dystopia album came out, and I
Hmm.
thought, wow, man, great things Dave's still doing here, man. Just this album's phenomenal. And that album, not that the other Megadeth albums previous before it, and after their height in the 90s, I just felt that that album was a real standout and it could have really fit in somewhere in that time in that height of era
Hmm.
in the 90s. So yeah, man. Um fuck yeah. Um so a 9, huh?
Yeah.
Solid 9 on the new Manson album. Good job, man. I figured you'd like the album. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Um Cool. With that being said, Tone gets to shoot his album and then wants to thank Bruce for giving him Warren Zevon The Wind. A few
Yeah.
things I want to state about this album right off the bat. Folk, rock, southern rock, tongue in cheek, blues, Americana. This thing encompasses a lot of musical genres in so many different ways. And it is absolutely loaded with superstars in the music industry. We know that this was the last album that Warren Zevon would make before his passing. I guess he was diagnosed with a form of mesothelioma, and this guy gave it his all on this album before his day was done,
Hmm.
and it comes through in every freaking song. I just want to point that out there. Let me start off with track number 1. This track is Dirty Life and Times. I gave this a B.
Mm.
It's a good song. I just did not find it to be a great opener.
Okay.
And you and I often talk about song placement on an album and how it can affect the scoring of the song. I just want to preface this by saying this is one of those situations. That track could have been stuck just about anywhere else in the album, and it probably would have been scored and received a little bit well for me. Okay. I'm not saying that to be it didn't grab me as an opener.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Track number 2, however, Disorder in the House. I gave this an A, very rocking and bluesy. This should have been the opener, in my personal opinion. Had they swapped track 1 and track 2, I think this could have scored perfect. This could have scored a very high. It would have been a much, much better score than
Mm.
what I'm going to give it, man. Just
Mm.
because they could have grabbed you a little bit better with the song selection that's on this album. Honestly, Disorder in the House is the one that really makes sense to be the opener. And for me, dude, it just starts off rocking.
Yeah.
That Dirty Life and Times could have been placed anywhere else on this album, and I probably would have received it a little bit better.
Ah.
But as an opener, I didn't see it that way.
Okay.
Track, I gave that one an A as well. Oh no, I gave that one an A. Track number 1 got a B. Uh, Track number 3, Knocking on Heaven's Door. I think we're all kind of familiar with this song to some degree. Most of us
Oh,
should
sure.
be. This was a cover of a Bob Dylan tune, and from what I read, it looks like he wanted to cover a Bob Dylan tune because Dylan had covered a bunch of his stuff at one point.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. These guys both come from that era of folk rock sounding stuff, and just kind of tongue in cheek folk rock sounding stuff. Really cool vibe going on back then at that time. And over the years, these guys would play. These guys would continue to play over the years, not just the '60s or '70s or whatnot. Um, I gave this an A plus. Great
Mm.
cover, absolute great cover. This is one of those tracks you should probably take a look at who all's involved on this track. It's utterly fucking amazing. The background vocalists on this track.
Can I just tell people?
If you have it handy, go ahead, man.
Absolutely. We got John Waite on backing vocals. We got Billy Bob Thornton on backing vocals. You have Tommy Shaw, well, on 12-string guitar and backing vocals. You also had Steve Gorman, the drummer for Black Crowes, on drums. Randy Mitchell. I know the name, I just can't think of it. He's doing the slide guitar on that. Um, as a side note, this whole album was recorded at Billy Bob's uh, studio. So,
I will tell you he went to the from what I read, I believe he went to the studio or the producers or whatever and record label and said, "Listen, I'm obviously passing away. I would like to do one more album," and they let him have whatever budget he wanted.
yep.
And it really shines because there's a lot of freaking amazing names on this. I can't even name them. There's so many, dude.
Ry
There's so
Cooder,
dude,
Springsteen,
there's so many. Like Tom Petty,
the
like
Eagles.
members of the Eagles, Don
Yep.
Henley.
Yep.
You know, it's this thing is loaded with superstars. So it only makes sense that the album came out the way that it did.
Yeah.
Track number 4, Numb as a Statue. I gave this an A. Great
Mm.
song, killer guitar work on this track. I really liked it. Track number 5, She's Too Good to Love Me, or She's Too Good to Love Me, or
Nope. She's too good for me.
She's Too Good for Me. Sorry,
Yep.
or Too Good to Me. Either one or the other. I
For
gave
me.
this an A. I gave it an A as well. This is a beautiful ballad, a
Mhm.
little tongue in cheek, but a very very good ballad um, style song. Track number 6, Prison Grove. This would be a weird turn on the album for me, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
I gave this an A. It had a really dark country style, like a dark country style tune, man. Like you think about those. You walk into the saloon and things are just dark or something. You know what I mean?
It,
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 ki-
it,
yeah, for me, it kind of reminded me of one of those old chain gangs. Like you could hear an old chain gang singing this, oh, whoa,
Yeah, it was
whoa.
good. It
Yeah.
was good. Now I'm probably going to butcher this next one, track number 7. I believe it's pronounced El Amore de mi vida, and I gave this one an A. It was a
Mm,
very slow song,
yeah.
but it was kind of like a contemporary slow song. Kind of had that kind of, you know, not quite slow jams vibe or smooth jazz vibe type feel or smooth 80s type feel, but it was just a really kind of contemporary, you know, slower song. It was I gave it an A. I liked it. Um, Track number 8. What a cool track this was.
Mm.
And I didn't even rate it, so I'm going to give it an A because I did. I given it an A as well. The rest of the night, really cool chorus on here. Fun up tempo tune. This really kind of, brings things back up to speed on the album a
Mm.
little bit. Um, and then we come back down on track number 9 with Please Stay. Once again, I wrote a beautiful ballad. The sax was the cherry on top in this, man. Towards the end of the track there, you can really see this saxophone or hear the saxophone really, saxophone or horns of some sort really come through towards the end, and it just
Yep.
really puts the fucking cherry on top of the song.
Yep.
And I really, really, really thought that was well thought out. Really, really, I really enjoyed that track. Um, Track number 10, Rub Me Raw. What a cool title of a track. Let me say that first. What a really, really cool of a title of a track. I gave this one an A. It was bluesy. It was a grooving track with a more killer guitar work, dude. The guitar work on some of these songs is just like, man, that's and it's not somebody being flashy. It's somebody really playing to the attributes of the song. And I love, love that shit.
Okay,
Uh,
real quick. I'm going to ask you, could you pick out who the guitar player is on that song? Do you remember the solo?
was it Petty?
No, Petty was on Petty and Mike Campbell was on Let's Party for the Rest of the Night.
Right.
This one on Rub Me Raw was Joe Walsh.
Okay. You know what? I saw him on there too, dude.
Yeah.
I like fucking
And
like,
it definitely had a Rocky Mountain Way vibe to that solo. So
yeah, it was really good, man.
yeah,
Um, this album's just been really, really good to this point. Track number 11, Keep Me in Your Heart. Jesus Christ, this is where I lost my shit.
yeah,
Like, I was bawling because I was thinking about Nancy just passing away and shit. And I gave this one an A plus. Um, People who know me know that I have in my mind, I don't have it written down in stone yet to people, but I have a list of music that I want played at my funeral. This just made my funeral list. Keep Me in Your Heart, dude. Just fucking really cool fucking tune.
mm,
Perfect closer for this album. I feel really horrible that I had to ding that first one with a B. Um, you know, the El Amor de mi vida or mi vida is translates to my love of my life. Um, I said this was a proper send off, insane amount of talent on the album. May not be for everyone, but it encompasses what great music is across several facets. This is a great album. I can't ding this album. Um, Warren Zevon's vocals may not be for everybody. They are a little weird at times or a little off tempo at times. Um, but I think that's what makes him him. You know what I mean? That's his vocal DNA. I like Warren Zevon. I've always been a huge fan, and I hate to fucking say this. I've always been a huge fan of Werewolves of London. It's one of my
mm.
favorite all-time songs, dude. Like every time that jam comes on, I've got to crank that motherfucker up. And Todd and I from Suspect Earth sat down in the kitchen one night and was working it out. And we were just we were living right off of each other on this shit. And we would talk about what was the line? Seen a werewolf, something or other. His hair was perfect, and then Todd went, no,
Yeah.
like it does in the song. Yeah.
Yep.
And we just laughed all night about that shit, and we love that song, dude.
Yeah.
Um, I, it gives me an idea, but yeah, dude. Classic musician, great fucking send off of an album. I wish that opener was somewhere else on the album. I really wish it was. I could have given this another A, and this would have scored smidge smidge higher. Phenomenal group of people on this album. The people that put this thing together. It's only about 45 minutes long, but you had 11
Yeah.
great tracks.
Yeah.
Um, Dude, with even though that opening track got a B, I've got two tracks on here with stars by them. I'm giving it a 9.5.
There you go.
Solid album, dude. Solid fucking album. I got to give it a 9.5, man. I can't ding it too hard. The opening, man, they would have just swapped those first two songs. This thing could have fucking been a 10 banger all fucking day, you know. But that opener just didn't grab me as much as it should have.
I understand what you're saying. I understand why it was the opener. Just cuz I just understand it. This is one of my favorite. This is probably my favorite Zevon song, or I'm sorry, Zevon album. Um, it's in my top. It's in my top 20 of favorite albums of all time. I just love the songwriting on this. I love the poignancy of this. Uh, I love the desperation in this album. He
So
wanted,
let
yeah.
me ask you something.
Hmm.
If he were to take one track from Warren Zevon
Hmm.
of his own personal track and reprise it for this album, it would obviously be, in my personal opinion, Werewolves of London. I got to thinking about this. With all the stars he put on this, right?
Hmm.
Who would you like to see working on Werewolves of London with him? knowing the parts of that are involved in Werewolves of London.
Uh, Gary Rossington. Because Werewolves of London is the same fucking chord structure as Sweet Home Alabama. Put Gary Rossington on that motherfucker.
At what position? I'm sorry, I'm not really familiar.
Lead guitar.
Okay. Okay, that's who you would pick for lead guitar?
Yep.
I would pick Elton John for piano or Billy Joel.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
But Warren Zevon, he was the piano player, but yeah, you could throw him on there.
Yeah.
As a side note, I would be remiss in saying, to your point where when you was talking about "Keep Me in Your Heart" being your funeral song, I actually sang this song at Vic's funeral. Me and a guitar.
Who did the guitar?
I did.
How did you do that?
I practiced the shit out of it, and you fight back the tears, and you just this is a job. And one of these days, somebody sent me a video. I'll share it with you. But I I was I asked permission. I said, "Could I sing this?" And I was sitting next to Vic's wife Barb, um, and I was singing it essentially to her, uh, you know, through him. And
Was Vic
this,
familiar with the song?
yeah. Oh, Vic loves Zevon. Vic's the one who turned me on to Warren Zevon,
Nice.
and this song is always going to have a pretty special place in my heart.
Dude, I wish that opener was fucking somewhere else on the album, dude. Dude,
You can make up your own rules. Make it a 10.
dude, I wish they would have swapped them because
Make it a 10.
that could have been a freaking great. That second one could have been the one that grabbed me, and I go, okay. Then that out second, that first song could have come in on second and really kind of mellowed me
Yeah,
into the album and shit. Ah, man, I just that's song placement, and I get it, dude. It's like that for some people. It's like
yeah,
that.
yep.
Cool, man. Well, the 9.5 from me and a 9 from you. I mean, we got to start giving each other shitty fucking albums or something, man. Shit that we can really fucking criticize. But I don't want to give you a shitty album. I
Well,
don't want to do it.
I think part of what this show is, it will eventually happen because we do stray off, and you'll get something. You're like, what the fuck is this? And vice versa. I mean, again, let's not forget you gave me the fucking great cat.
Cat's
So,
awesome.
yeah, she has her place.
Oh my goodness, I'm going to beat you.
Uh-huh. So, what are you going to give me for next week?
You know what? You got to give me a second because I think I know what I want to give you. And I know that it's a band that's coming to the King of Clubs. I've seen them live. And I'm thinking maybe I'm going to go see them again because I really enjoyed their show. I'd like to hear some of their newer stuff. So give me 1 second. Let me make sure I have it so I can tell you what to give you. Here we go. As a matter of fact, I do have it here. Tracks 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. All right. Told you I'd keep you off the doom there for a fucking minute. So
Did you lie to me?
I did not, sir. I did not. So I am giving you for next week, you are going to get an album from the band called Intervals. Intervals.
Okay.
The name of the album is going to be called The Shape of Color. COLOUR.
Okay.
This is a instrumental album. You should be aware of that.
Okay.
And I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. These guys are they've toured with Animals as Leaders. I think they toured with Pellini. I think I've seen all three of these guys in one night. Intervals, Pellini, and Animals as Leaders. And I had my mind blown musically by these wonderful, wonderful musicians and talent that were in all of these bands. And I just remember, you know what? I love instrumental stuff. You know, I love to dump instrumental stuff on you. Wanted to get your opinion on these dudes because I am honestly thinking about going to see them at the King of Clubs.
There you go.
So
All
love these
right.
dudes. What do
Sweet.
you got for me?
I am going to give you um this is a really this is one of Wes's favorite newer bands, West Beach from the Plasmatics.
Okay,
Um I've listened to this album a few times, and it's not what we typically listen to,
it's fine.
but I I dig it. I dig the vibe. And so I'm giving you the Dolly Rots Night Owls.
Dollyrrots.
That is correct.
And what's the name of the album?
Night Owls. When we were at Used Kids, I showed you the album.
Okay. Okay, I look forward to this. And you say Wes turned you on to these guys?
Yeah,
Good, good, good. Wes turns us on to good stuff all the time.
no, he does.
And
He's the
and
man.
he is the man. He is a great friend of the show. We need to get him back on.
I know.
We need to come up with a show to drag him onto.
Yeah, listen, I've got a couple ideas. Wes, you know, hook- tell us when you're ready, Wes.
Yeah,
We got some ideas.
we got some ideas to come up, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know what? That might be a really fucking good idea.
Hmm.
And I'm just going to stick this out there. Why don't we do something along the top 5 or top 10 punk bands that we all love? Because I can come up with any number of punk bands that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Do our top 5, top 10 favorite punk bands. And I think having a plasmatic on the episode would really be something special.
There you go.
What do you think?
Well, let's plan for that.
Let's
Let's talk it out. Let's flesh it out. Let's talk about it.
I think we could get Scott involved.
Okay.
Scott's a big punk fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe so that puts 4 of us.
We'll talk about it.
I would like to, let me see. Give me a second. Maybe get Chuck on for the 5th if he's got enough punk reference. I don't imagine he wouldn't, but that would give us enough screen space that we could drop the albums in still.
Yeah.
If we had about 4 guests. But let's talk about it. It could be a future episode. And I think that'd be a great idea. A great idea.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's freaking awesome, dude. So with that, I have the Dolly Rots Night Owls next week, and you got Intervals, the Shape of Color.
Excellent. All right. Excellent.
All right. So Bruce, you got anything else you want to say for the evening before we roll out?
Yeah, guys, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. A lot of you guys, you listen to us every week. We really do appreciate it. We'd really appreciate it if you could kind of share it, if you can just talk about it. Let us know what you think. We're on all your streaming services and
Facebook,
We're
X.
on X. Yeah, we're on all of it, and we really appreciate all your love and support.
We really do. And we want to thank you guys for everything. If you see us out in public, man, feel free to snap a picture
Whoa. Come on. No.
Or grab some stickers from us if we have those handy. Maybe a business card or two if you're an A&R rep and want to pick up the show and take us
That's right.
Make us millionaires somehow, because we'd love to make that happen.
That's right.
We would love to make that happen.
I'm not paying this liquor by myself.
Yeah, and this nice bourbon doesn't pay for itself either. So, any bourbon or alcohol companies want to promote or endorse us, we're very interested, and we would love to see how we could continue to grow a relationship with many, many, many more people. So once again, if you like what you see and hear here, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share us. We are on all your podcast streaming services. Hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on X. Where else are we at? We any other social media?
Nah, no more social media.
Yeah,
No,
I don't think we do Instagram. I
nope.
don't think we do Snapchat or any of that stuff.
We don't do the
Uh,
talk.
well, maybe the TikTok will come down to it if we start getting, a bigger subscriber base and we can really pump that out there to them. Because I don't know that I see a lot of talk show about music or music reviews on there as much.
Not yet.
Maybe not yet, but we'll figure it out.
Yep.
With that being said, Bruce, thank you so much for another great evening. Thank you so much for another great album. We want to thank everybody once again for watching. I'm Tone.
I'm Bruce.
And we are hooked on Sonics, and we will see you next week.
See ya.